guys are ready. All right. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. My name's Andy Beshear, and I'm honored to serve as Kentucky's 50th Attorney General. I wanted to be Kentucky's Attorney General to protect not only my children, but to better protect all of Kentucky's children. We do that every day in the Attorney General's office by following a four-part core mission: preventing and prosecuting child abuse, better protecting our seniors from scams and abuse, seeking justice for victims of rape, and finding workable solutions to our drug epidemic. Every day, it's estimated that there are over 500,000 child sexual predators online looking to take advantage of our children. That's why every day, investigators in the Attorney General's Office Cybercrimes Unit are online working to stop them. In the past, on average, the Office of Attorney General would remove 15 child sex offenders from our Kentucky communities every year. I'm proud to be able to announce today that since January 4th, when I took office and we made this a priority, we have doubled that number and now removed our 30th child sexual predator. And before the end of the year, we believe we will triple the number of these dangerous folks that we remove from our communities. Add to the fact that the office has assisted on over 28 arrests dealing with human trafficking, and you can see our commitment to protecting our children. I'm very proud of our investigators for their hard work, but neither I nor them are willing to rest while there is a single predator out there looking to take advantage of our children. You know, to me, this is personal. I'm the dad of a 6- and a 7-year-old, and I think of every Kentucky child like my children, and I want to protect each of them the same way that I wake up ready to protect mine in the morning. To date, most of our cybercrimes arrests have occurred in central and northern Kentucky around our base of operations. But I am committed to making sure that every single region of our state is the safest place to raise a family. So for many months, McCracken County Sheriff John Hayden, who I believe is one of the finest in this state, and I have been discussing ways to keep our children safe and to make them safer. Together, we initiated a joint operation called Operation Shielded Child to remove child sexual predators from the Paducah, McCracken County, and surrounding communities. Operation Shielded Child is a first operation for the Attorney General that is a multi-day regional sting aimed at catching child sexual predators. It is our first step into expanding our reach to make sure that we can catch these folks in every single part of this state, and we could have not asked for a better partner than the McCracken County Sheriff's Office. We wanted to start right here because we knew the level of professionalism, and we knew we'd have a great partner. Over the last few days, AG investigators, along with Sheriff Hayden and his great deputies, successfully executed this operation. Together, we have arrested 2 suspects, either for the possession and distribution of child pornography or for soliciting minors online for sex. In addition to these 2, I at least believe that the work we have done could lead to the arrest of 2 to 3 additional individuals over the next coming weeks and months. The individuals arrested to date include David Price, 42, of Paducah, who was charged with 20 counts of possession of a matter portraying the sexual performance of a minor, a Class D felony. A search warrant was executed at Price's residence, where his personal computer was found to contain explicit images of children. He will be arraigned here in the McCracken Circuit Court. Second individual, Mark Allen Johnson, 26, of Bowling Green, was arrested on July 19th and charged with prohibited use of electronic communication system to procure a minor for sex, a Class D felony. Johnson posted an online ad soliciting sex and asked to engage in sexual acts with an undercover investigator who was posing as a minor. He not only did that, he traveled from Bowling Green to meet the minor in person in Paducah. Upon arrival, he was arrested by investigators, and he will be arraigned in the McCracken Circuit Court. We would not have been successful in this first effort to move out into the state without Sheriff Hayden's leadership and his commitment to the children and families of McCracken County and the entire western Kentucky region. I also have to thank the Commissioner of the Attorney General's Department of Criminal Investigations, John Moberly, as well as Bill Baker, the head of our cyber crimes unit, who worked so hard he headed home to his family earlier this afternoon. This is our first, but it certainly will not be our last regional effort in this state. We've been contacted by numerous law enforcement folks from across this state ready to do exactly what we have done here and remove sexual predators from their communities. So let me send a message to the predators out there looking to take advantage of our children. We will find you. We will arrest you. You cannot hide no matter what community you're in. And with that, I want to turn it over to our great partner and a person who deserves significant credit in Operation Shielded Child, Sheriff John Hayden.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney General and Commissioner Moberly, I want you all to know and understand how professional your employees have been through this operation. They have a vast amount of knowledge when it comes to investigating internet crime, especially when it comes to crimes against children. And they brought that expertise to us, and we were able to greatly benefit from it here locally. And I appreciate that very much, and I personally look forward to continuing our relationship and continuing these operations to make our community safer here in McCracken County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to?
Oh, just we're glad that the Attorney General is working so hard to fight this type of crime in McCracken County. County Attorney Sam Clymer and I are totally on board with it. Sheriff Hayden and the Sheriff's Department have done an excellent job, and we are very fortunate to have this kind of expertise and this kind of action in our community, and we should all be very grateful to the Attorney General and to Sheriff Hayden. Thank you all.
Well, we appreciate that, and we could not take the next step, which is ultimately securing the conviction of these individuals, without our hardworking Commonwealth and county attorneys. Like we said, folks, this is the first step. I know, speaking for the sheriff, myself, for Commissioner Moberly, and I'm sure our prosecutors, we will not rest while we believe that there is one child sexual predator out there looking to take advantage of our children. So thank you, and if you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
You had made mention this is the first multi-agency, multi-week operation. Fair to say these efforts, not to put words in your mouth, but this operation was overdue?
Well, I think every day that we're not everywhere we can be doing everything we can to protect our children, that we're overdue. But we take the resources that we have, we never use them as an excuse. We stretch them as far as we can, and we leave nothing on the table to exert every effort to protect our children. Now, what we did here today will be a model about what we do across the state. And Sheriff Hayden and his deputies, and how well they not only worked with us but carry out their professional duties, that's going to set a pretty high standard, Sheriff, for the rest of the state and our law enforcement to follow.
I have a question for the sheriff.
Yes.
Well, Governor Beshear, Attorney General, I should say, Beshear had made mention that there would be maybe 2 or 3 more arrests. Is that something that your office obviously is going to continue to monitor? And I would assume it goes beyond just the week that these folks were here, but 30 or 365 days out of the year or something that you're going to keep an eye on as well?
Certainly. There could be some more arrest over the next few weeks after we get some lab analysis from some of the computers that's been seized during this operation. But I think one important thing that the public needs to know and understand is that somebody is watching. If you're on the internet and you're downloading child pornography, or you're on the internet and you're looking to meet a child for sex, somebody's out there watching. Somebody's watching what you're doing, and if the fact that these investigations are ongoing and people know it, maybe it will prevent someone from committing such an act if they know that someone's watching. And so this is will continue. This effort will continue from now on.
Absolutely.
Driving 2 hours for sex, I mean, for a minor, I mean, with a minor,
That's 2 hours to think about what you're doing. That's 2 hours to turn your car around. It's a long time.
And sadly, we've seen this in so many circumstances. And other stings that we've carried out, we've caught a Southern Indiana minister who traveled as far as Frankfurt. We've caught a Somerset firefighter. We've caught a researcher at one of our major universities. So sadly, these predators come in all shapes and sizes, and they are willing to go to great lengths to try to get to our children. That's why it's so important that not only is the Attorney General's office out there watching for them and looking to catch them every day, but our local sheriffs as well.
Is there also maybe a message to parents? Obviously, social media
Yes.
has exploded over the past couple of years. A message maybe to parents to obviously watch their child's activities?
Absolutely. Parents have to take control and monitor their children's online activities. We have to now look at being online the same way as we looked at being outside. We have to know where our children are. We have to know that they're not talking to strangers. And when they're talking to people that they know, where significant abuse can occur, they need to know what those conversations are like and what's happening. One way parents can do that is they can go to our website, ag.ky.gov, and we actually have a toolkit, an internet toolkit for parents to help them know the different settings they can set and also what to look for, because even the most basic apps right now, even those aimed at young children, allow the outside world to communicate with them. So parents need to be ever vigilant in protecting their own children and others. I mean, in the end, this is a community obligation. All children are children of God, equal in his or her eyes, and we all have a duty to protect each and every one of them.
With David Price, was this pictures and or video or just pictures?
Pictures, absolutely, for sure. Right now, we basically, when we go in there, we forensically check the computer, and they start identifying known pedophile or known child pornography pictures. From that, they'll take it back and they'll actually dig into identifying, because there's typically hundreds of these pictures. So honestly, I believe there's a combination of both. But pictures have been identified. And when I say of children, I'm not talking about teenage children. I'm talking about 3 and 4 years old and often younger. So this is what we're going after, and this is why it's so important to us to deal with these individuals who, for most of us, just can't comprehend, what these guys are thinking. But it is very important that we target these individuals.
Was that specifically for this case, the 3 or 4-year-olds?
General.
Is that just
In general. In general.
And it's important for people to understand that, because sadly, the term pornography has gotten watered down, and people don't think about the fact that those pictures show a crime being committed and a victim. And when you were talking about, especially children, young children, it is a young child being exploited, a child who will have and carry those scars forever, and the fact that people are looking at and even trading the same image perpetuates it and puts another child at risk. All right. Well, thank you all very much.
I was just going to ask, I'm not sure if the sheriff or the commissioner should answer this, but can you talk about a little bit about the investigation that led up to the search warrants and led you to these men?
Sure. We're talking about two different kinds of cases, and we talked about the different softwares and different things. I mean, technology has changed so much in the last decade. Certain softwares allow people to stay anonymous, and so one of the things that we target is individuals who may be putting ads out to try to reach out to be something that they're really not, to change their age, to portray themselves maybe as a female, and try to find young children to perpetrate. So in the first arrest that we made, this particular individual was seeking a young person. And so we had communicated with that individual through different means, utilizing different software for several days, up to a week. And not knowing exactly who the individual was, because the software allows you to, in many cases, to be anonymous. So as we're communicating back and forth, we don't even know who's going to be coming in. And so as you continue to communicate with them, you give them multiple opportunities, as the sheriff had said. You know, I'm only 14 years old. I'm only 13 years old. And very often they'll start sending pictures of themselves. They'll continue to push to have a private meeting. And we just continue to follow up through it until we can identify who they are. And that's typically as they arrive on scene. Now, the second type of investigation that we did involves actually the downloading of known child pornography. And so we've got tools that allow us to monitor for such things as that. And so what we did was, in this particular case, we focused on this area. Now, as we did that, we were able to identify individuals in some surrounding counties. We were able to identify individuals actually across the river in Illinois. We've actually passed that information to the authorities there. So we plan on continuing to track these individuals. It is something that I wish we could do all the time. I wish we could be everywhere. We've only got, you know, our guys, we have 4 full-time guys that work there at the AG's office. We also have another, one of our investigators that actually, she works for the FBI task force.
And a new one coming on board.
And a new one that's coming on board. So we are trying to grow because we do need to be here. We need to be east. We need to be in the southern part of the state more. We're just limited to the resources. And so as we do the front end stuff, once you collect this, we're talking about not just hours or days, but often weeks and months worth of forensic interviewing or of forensic researching the equipment that we get. When we come in, you know, we're taking phones, we're taking computers. Often there's hard drives, everything from Xboxes to things that you would not normally think that you'd be communicating on, and we have to forensically go through them and make sure that nothing gets missed. And the reason that we do that is because we don't want a victim that's out in the community, a neighbor, unfortunately maybe a child or a family member that is being victimized, and we don't want to miss those opportunities to find them and to make sure that we get them the help that they need. So it's very important that we take our time, we do it right. And in many of the cases in the search warrants that we had, that we served, that we have not made arrest on yet, it's kind of a service announcement thing. If you have Wi-Fi and it's not protected, or you are sharing your secure password, anybody can get on that, and these perpetrators are looking for these opportunities to download child pornography because it helps hide them even more. So if you have Wi-Fi, make sure that you are properly protecting that, and protecting that password, because that's the instances that we've got. We've got 2 instances where an individuals shared their passwords, and you know, we're having to go through numerous computers to determine who it was. We can get the IP address, we get the MAC addresses, you know, so we know where they went. We've just got to find the computers now and find the images themselves. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Can you spell your name for me?
It's John Moberly, Moberly.
John?
Yes, sir.
In that taking the time that Commissioner Moberly and I he was talking about was one of the first things that we discussed as he became commissioner and I came into office, that the most important person in any crime isn't the perpetrator. While we have to catch them, it's the victim. And making sure that in these arrests that we spend the time to make sure if there is especially a local victim that we can identify, that we do that so we can get them the help that they need.
And you mentioned that this is a first step. Where do you go from here?
Well, we're not going to announce which communities we're going to be in, but I can say we already have 2 others that we are scheduling right now, with many others to come. We have got a great set of law enforcement all throughout the state, whether it's in sheriff's offices or city police or our state police, which does a great job. So we've got no shortage of partners, and their professionalism and the work that they put in allow us in a short period of time to make sure we can have the maximum impact.
And when you say 2 others, you have 2 other investigations in other communities that you are working on?
We have 2 other communities at this moment that we're finalizing plans, and after today we'll probably have a lot more opportunities as well. Great. Thank you all.